Ain't this about a bitch?
Where's our waiter? I am starving.
What's the difference?
Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today we're here to talk about the new film that was just released on Netflix, You People. But before we dive into that, if you are a fan of movie reviews, 4K Blu-ray reviews, some tech and game reviews, and if you're into podcasts, then this is the channel for you, and nothing would help us out more than by you liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So You People is directed by Kenya Barris, who is most famous for creating the show Blackish, and it stars Jonah Hill, Eddie Murphy, Nia Long, Laura London, David Duchovny, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So going into this film, I thought we were just going to get a retelling or a modern-day remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner starring Sidney Poitier from the 60s, or, you know, even the remake from 2005 where they just reversed it with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher, Guess Who. But actually this film, it does kind of play with those tropes, but not 100%. This tells the story of Jonah Hill's character of Ezra and his relationship, or his blooming relationship in the beginning of this film, with Laura London's character of Amira. They get together. Jonah Hill happens to, at the time, to be a podcaster, and it was very relatable to, actually to my own life, because, you know, he's got a job that he really just hates, and, you know, he wants to live his dream, and his dream is to be a podcaster. For me, it's very similar. I have a dead-end job that I absolutely hate, and, you know, my dream is to be a YouTuber slash podcaster and talk about movies all the time. That's my dream, so I kind of related to this guy, and he ends up meeting Laura London. He actually mistakes her for an Uber driver.
What the fuck? What are you doing? Stop!
And, you know, their relationship starts to blossom, but then it comes time, you know, we gotta start meeting the parents. And Jonah Hill's parents are played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus and David Duchovny, Fox Mulder himself. I guess he's retired from the X-Files, and now he's decided he wants to start a family. He has a sister as well, Jonah Hill, and is dealing with their family dynamic and how they would be welcoming in an African-American woman into their family, because Jonah Hill and Laura London, in the very beginning of this movie, they end up getting engaged. It's about the differences in the races, especially dealing with the races in America. That's a big subject matter in this movie, is the racial divide in this country, and showing like what it's like for parents of a black woman and then the parents of a white, in this case Jewish kid in Jonah Hill, and what it would be like for them if their kids ended up getting married. Now actually myself as well, I am married to a biracial woman, so I'm in a biracial marriage myself, so it's somewhat relatable to that, but my parents and my wife's parents are nowhere near as sane as these parents are, which is pretty crazy. Laura London's parents are played by Nia Long and the world famous Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy really does a great job in this movie, as Eddie Murphy has always done. Eddie Murphy is one of the best comedians of all time, but he hasn't really been making a ton of movies over the last, I'd say, like 2 decades, but he's been really on the comeback trail. It really started with Dolomite Is My Name, which was also a Netflix film, and then the Coming to America 2 sequel that came out, I believe, a couple years ago. So he's been actually showing up in a lot more films lately, and he was really enjoyable in this film. Actually, everybody did a phenomenal job acting in this movie, obviously with a stat cast like that. You even see Mike Epps pop up in this, so it's just everybody is just in this movie, and they all do just a great job acting. Now the story itself, like I said, it's a rom-com, and it can be a little bit generic at points, but me and my wife had fun this morning. We got up, we put this movie on, we had some egg sandwiches and some coffee, and we watched this one, and we really enjoyed it. You know, it doesn't ever go to that like special place where it becomes one of those movies that you're going to be running back to all the time, or an award nominee type of movie. No, it's just a good time, a fun movie, and I think it being on Netflix really does help it, because this isn't the kind of movie I think you would have to see in theaters, although it did have a limited run in theaters. I think this is the kind of movie that is perfect for you to watch for your significant other at home. Jonah Hill actually co-wrote this script. I think the script itself is really good. It's actually really funny. There weren't that many laugh out loud moments in this movie. I think actually Julia Louis-Dreyfus had some of the biggest laughs for me between her and Eddie Murphy. Although Jonah Hill did have some moments where I thought, okay, he's playing that Jonah Hill character. You kind of know that, like, you know, nervous kind of guy that we've seen since Superbad. And, you know, he's playing that character that he's asked to play perfectly. And it really does feel like, my wife pointed out, like this is like what the real Jonah Hill is like. You know, Jonah Hill's been talking about his own personal life a lot, you know, his struggles with weight and his struggles with mental illness, and, you know, he's become very relatable, and I feel like this story is very important to him. The fact that he helped co-write it really should tell you how much faith he has in this movie, and I think he played his character awesome. I did care about their relationship in the end. You know, it plays out like the typical rom-com formula. There isn't anything I felt like that they were adding new to it, other than, you know, it's a 2023 film, and they're talking about modern day issues in the year 2023, especially here in America, like things that we're just always dealing with, like that racial divide in our country, and they really do tackle that, but they tackle it from a, you know, a rom-com sort of way. So like they go into the issues, but, you know, it never goes too deep. There's always a joke waiting there. to help cap it off. Now, the jokes themselves, I laughed at some of them, but like I said, this isn't a roll on the floor kind of laugh out loud funny movie. It just had some, like, I got some giggles out of it. Like I said, I just thought that this was fun. I enjoyed myself. My wife enjoyed herself. We really did have a good time watching this movie. I didn't think it was anything special, but I still think it's something that you should check out. I think you'll have a lot of fun watching it. So what would I give this film in a score of 1 to 10? I think I would still give this a pretty solid 7.5 out of 10. I think you'll have a fun time watching it. The acting is great throughout the entire thing. The screenplay is pretty tight. I think the direction is really good. And, getting to watch it at home on Netflix, it kind of has that Netflix cinematography that we're used to, where everything just looks super clean. And, Los Angeles looks beautiful in this movie. Actually, there's a lot of nice transitional shots showing the city of Los Angeles. I guess it's kind of like a love letter to Los Angeles in a way, but that all looked beautiful. But it does look super clean. It looks like a lot of Netflix films we've seen. I don't know if they just have this like, hey, it's got to look like our films if you're going to be putting it on Netflix, because they all just have this certain cinematography look to it. And I just can't believe that it's just organic. I have to believe that this was something that was created for Netflix. So that's the only thing on the cinematography that kind of bothered me, but they did a lot of cool stuff with the transitions that was very original. So again, I can definitely recommend this film. Check it out on Netflix, and if you do check it out on Netflix, why don't you comment in the comment section below and let us know what you thought of it. And while you're down there, nothing would help the channel out more than by you liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and then if you're in the podcast, search for us under Let's Talk Entertainment and Media on all podcast services. And then after you do all that, what really helps us out? You going out and telling all your friends.